And good afternoon, or whenever you're watching this. Welcome to the Pascack Clutch podcast. This is episode 4 and the final episode of this first short season. I'm Matthew Merlino, joined by Sam Koppelman, Sean Barry, Alex McKay, and Michael McKay. And let's not waste any time. We'll start with our Pascack Hills Sports Report, and we'll go with the baseball team because they won their section. That's the North Jersey Section 1 Group 2 Championship with a 3-1 victory over Ramsey on June the 2nd. They also had wins at Pascack Valley and against Westwood and Newton to get there. They also won yesterday, June the 5th, versus Hanover Park in the Group 2 semifinals, 4-1 the final there, meaning they will play Rumson Fairhaven in the Group 2 finals at 10 a.m. this Saturday, June 10th, down in Hamilton by Trenton. That's about an hour and a half drive from where we are up in North Jersey. On to track and field. In the boys and girls 4x100, they took fourth and moved on to the Group 2 championship. We also want to recognize the sophomore track team who won the 2023 championship, so congratulations to them. Pete Priestner got a personal record of 156 in the 800. He took third there and he qualified. That was number 3 all-time for Pascack Hills and the fastest mark since 1984 in the 800. So congratulations to Mr. Priestner. The girls 4x100 took fourth, so I believe they qualify for that section in the group tournament. A lot of players, a lot of runners and field athletes did qualify for the group championship. We can't go over all of them, unfortunately, but that means they will go to the NJSIAA group championship on Friday. I don't know where that is exactly. And Saturday, both the varsity and JV group championships are Friday, June 9th, and Saturday, June the 10th. We will have the Pascack Hills athletic schedule in the description of this video for those who are interested. One more thing before we go on to our professional sports report. Our Pascack Hills tennis team finished their great season off, unfortunately, with a loss in the state sectional, I believe, championship against Old Tapan yesterday. So a congratulations on a good season for the tennis team. Unfortunately, not the championship in the end. So anyways, we have reached the final round for both the NBA and NHL. We'll start with the NBA because we weren't able to talk about them that much in our last episode. So let's talk about that right now. The NBA Finals between the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. It's a 1-1 series going into Game 3 this Wednesday, June 7th. So that's tomorrow in Miami. First 2 games, the first one dominated by the Denver Nuggets. The second one, a really close one with the Heat taking over in the fourth quarter and taking the win at 111 to 108. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Heat really came with a big win in Game 2. They really needed it. And if they can also win both of their games or at least one game at home in Game 3 or 4, I think they do have a pretty good shot upsetting the Nuggets. They just have to play their game and do their job.
Yeah.
I feel like Game 2 was definitely a big momentum booster for them. After you go down Game 1 in the biggest game of probably your lives, you want to win that second game so you at least have a shot at winning. And I feel like now that Miami has tied the series back at 1, it is going to be a very interesting matchup to see in the future.
I think it's very even, the matchup, and I think this could go on to Game 7, but honestly I think this is probably going to go to Game 6.
Latest is going to 6 in my opinion. Look, Heat's defense has been struggling. The Nuggets defense has been non-existent in the fourth quarter, which is partly why it could go to 7, but it's very, very unlikely. Because Jokic is being too dominant as a whole. Like 2 40-point nights. No, you're not doing that consistently.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a 2-2 series coming out of Game 4. So I think we will see 6, and I think we are going to see 7. I think the Nuggets get Game 5, the Heat get Game 6, and then we go to a Game 7, which is probably going to be a toss-up. But I think the Nuggets will have the edge no matter what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this series will go 7.
One crazy stat I saw was that Jokic joined the 500 plus points and a 150 plus assists in a singular postseason. LeBron's done that 6 times, but lost 6 championships.
Exactly.
Well, that's LeBron for you.
Also, with the Heat, they could also have a possible return of Tyler Hero coming back from his hand injury, so that will help the Heat with their
Is that for
lineup.
Game 3?
I don't know, but
Probably
with
both
this
games.
when they
It's
come out
probably
of Game
Game
2, it'll
Yeah.
spare for his recovery. So
Game 3 's too
probably
soon.
Game 4.
Yeah.
Game 4, Game 5.
They're probably
Game
gonna
4.
try to see if what they can do in Game 3,
Yeah.
and then if they need it, they'll put him in Game 4. But
I mean, they still say he's experiencing swelling and some soreness in that broken hand of his, but I'm not sure if that has developed into something bad or has just stopped, I guess is what you could call it.
I think honestly, what they could do is activate him for Game 3, not play him, but if they need him towards the end, then put him in. And
Yeah.
kind of keep him on the bench as a bench player. But yeah, you're probably gonna start him in Game 4.
Yeah.
So that's it for the NBA Finals. Of course, Game 3 in Miami on Wednesday, June 7th. That's tomorrow. If you're watching this the day we recorded and posted it. So it'll be Nuggets at Heat for the next 2 games, and then, of course, it'll swap over each game for 5, 6, and 7. But on to the National Hockey League, where the Stanley Cup Finals have begun between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers, both sweeping their opponents in the conference finals.
No.
No,
Vegas-
yeah, Vegas and Vegas.
Vegas
Vegas
sweep.
was gonna sweep,
I
but then
remember.
lost 2
I
games.
remember.
They won 6.
I remember they were both going
Yeah.
Yeah.
to sweep, but
Yeah, there's gonna be the 4.
Florida's getting there.
There's gonna be 4 sweeps, 2 in the NBA, 2 in the
yeah,
basketball, but 2 in the NBA, 2 in the NHL, but only 1 happened in both.
yeah.
Florida's getting whooped right now.
Yeah,
Florida's probably
It is
Two
ugly.
huge losses
It is
for the Florida
ugly.
Panthers against
I
the
mean,
Vegas
but, yeah,
Golden Knights
but they
in
lost.
Las Vegas. A 5-2 loss in Game 1 on Saturday, and then yesterday a 7-2 beat down in Vegas. But of course, the series does go back to Florida for 3 and 4, and of course,
Yeah.
we all know the old adage: the series doesn't start until the home team loses. So we'll see if the home team does lose, and if they do here in Game 3, I think it's going to be a sweep.
Yeah.
They need a win in Game 3 for the series to go more than 4.
Florida has to clutch up if they want to have a shot to win this.
They have to do more than clutch up.
And
They have to win both home
and they
games.
may get some help because Jack Eichel, although he did play the 3rd period last night, he did suffer a big hit from Matthew Tkachuk, I believe.
Yeah, it was Matthew
And
Tkachuk.
he seemed okay, but that was a huge hit, and I don't know if he's got some lingering injuries coming off of that. So we'll see. Maybe he doesn't get as much ice time as he did in these first 2 games, and maybe that affects the Golden Knights. Eichel is the guy for Vegas at the moment. 27 goals, 39 assists in these playoffs.
Yeah.
But now that I feel like that Florida's going back home, this is really going to be a big make or break series.
Well, if they
Because-
lose, they're down 3-0 in the
Well,
series.
Game 3 is going to be the, as you said, make or break game for Florida. If they lose that, the series is pretty much over at that point.
Also with Florida, like in Game 1 and Game 2, I feel like they were in the penalty box too much or physical. Like they have to actually just play the game of hockey, score goals, get don't be. I don't know. They have to play the game of hockey the right way if they want to win.
Mm-hmm. It's not the Bruins where their opponent is twice their size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an even matchup, but Vegas is doing
Dominating.
They're playing better.
incredibly better than
Well,
Florida.
they are crushing it right now. They're up 12-4 in the first 2 games in goals wise, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's a beatdown already,
Yeah.
and if Vegas, Florida has only scored 5 goals to Vegas's 12, or 4 goals to Vegas's 12 in these first 2 games. And as I said, pretty much every time I've spoken about this, if Florida loses Game 3, you can pretty much call it series. But don't count out the Panthers.
Honestly,
to 5.
For all we know, they could win. They could win games 4 through 7.
For all we know, it could turn into Cavs Warriors 2016.
Exactly.
Or you don't know if the Panthers are
But
scoring
I
the
highly
next 4 in
doubt
a row.
it with how Vegas is playing.
If we look back at the first round of the playoffs, Florida did go down 3-1, but then they did end up coming back and winning the series.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this was against Boston, who was the number 1 team and projected to make it to the
This
finals.
Vegas team looks so much stronger than that Boston team, just in general.
Yeah. I mean, they did almost throw the conference final
to Dallas
series, but going up 3-0 definitely gave them a confidence boost, and now they know that they could do it against the best teams.
But as we saw, this team has made some surprises to give us some action in the past. Now we can see maybe they can do it again.
I also feel like Vegas is a bit more well rested, just in general, because they've had a bit of an easier playoffs if you really look at it compared to Florida. Florida's just been beat.
Vegas is a 1 seed, and Florida has to take the hardest path of any team.
Yeah,
I mean,
they had Boston. You got
win
Toronto.
Game 7 in overtime.
Hurricanes.
Beat Toronto, coming off their first season win in 21 years.
Yeah,
And then
Hurricanes.
have 10 plus overtimes in the Hurricane series.
Yeah,
That pretty much makes everybody in that series stay up till 1 a.m.
yeah.
And on top of that, getting hit.
Which we all know. No,
I feel like Game 1 and 2 was just for the Panthers to see how Vegas will play.
Bob looked tired last night.
Will it go like the Devils Rangers series?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like Game 1 and 2, Devils
Yeah.
need to see how they see the Rangers
Devils
now.
got crushed and outscored 10-2 in the first 2 games, and then won Game 7.
Turn it around, yeah.
Well, the Devils
With 2 shutouts.
The Devils
Like-
had also switched Vitek Vanacek in for a. Vitek Vanacek got switched out for Akira Schmid.
But that's not.
That's not the
Florida-
point.
They don't
It's
need to
just-
do a
they're-
goalie
they're,
change.
they're not.
They still
They're not
came
switching a
But
goalie.
they were also a better team on the road. Even though they lost both of the first 2 games at the Rock, they still went and beat at the Garden. But now that Florida's coming home, they could have the upper advantage because they have the fan support on their side now.
Mm-hmm.
So now we just have to see where this is going to
But
go.
it's not gonna work like the Devils, where they're gonna have a goalie change and it's magically just gonna
Yeah.
turn around.
Florida just has to make adjustments and just play
Yes.
better if they
Yeah.
want to win.
Because,
what they have been doing, I mean, we've seen
The whole
hasn't been
playoffs.
working, so you
Bob
have
looked
to-
really good last night. It's just that the defense has not been there the past 2 games.
Yeah.
Past 2 games.
I mean, is it? Have they gone through too much to be competitive now? I mean, as I said,
Like you think,
Boston, Game 7 in overtime. Toronto, at least that was a sweep, right?
No,
No, it's 5. Yeah.
Close enough to a sweep.
Toronto won Game 4, I think.
Yeah, they did.
It was close enough to a sweep to at least make it a little bit better.
I feel like Florida started to take their foot off the gas, but now they have to put it right back on if they're going to win this.
They haven't.
I think
Their defense
they
is.
may have used Game 1 and 2 as like rest.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's why.
Because much needed rest.
Well, we've seen it before. Like, Florida's like, they always rest and then right away, boom, 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 they start outscoring their opponent 5-1,
Yeah.
6-1.
Yeah.
7-1. I've seen a lot of 7-1 games. In the end.
We'll just have to wait until Thursday to find out.
Yeah.
Thursday, Game 3 in Florida. Vegas, of course, leads the series 2-0, and then Saturday, Game 4, where the series could end if the Golden Knights do pull off the sweep. Both Games 3 and 4 at the Live Arena in Sunrise, Florida. One last scheduled thing to talk about before we go into our random discussion about whatever we want. Breaking news from about an hour and a half ago. The PGA Tour, LIV Golf Tour, and the DP World Tour have all been merged, which is going to pretty much change the entire game of golf as we know it, as our 2, I guess, resident golf experts, the McKays, are about to tell us, I presume.
It's, I don't know, like, Live Golf, that they were getting paid just to play. So you could go and shoot a +10, but still get paid $500,000 for live. But if you're playing the PGA Tour and you shoot +10, you're not just being cut. You're not being paid. You're losing money because you had for transportation and all that. Like, but now it's like, I mean, yeah, you're all the players who used to be on the PGA Tour who joined Live are coming back, but like,
Well,
I don't know.
they have said that they will try and work out something to make it better, to make it easier for those live breakaways to rejoin the PGA Tour or the World Tour, which they were previously banned from, and of course there were a bunch of lawsuits with that. The PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan has said that LIV Golf will complete its 2023 season or its 2023 schedule. So I assume that the big changes will not be seen until next year for these tours. But also, and I'm looking through the ESPN article, I don't see anything. Does that mean the World Tour and the PGA Tour are going to have to schedule their events on different days? Because I feel like, they were already working together on pretty much all the major events, the Ryder Cup, the British Open.
Honestly,
But
who knows?
what's the deal with all those smaller events? What's going to happen? Is it going to be fully the PGA Tour? Because the PGA Tour, Professional Golfers of America, it's only America. So what's the deal going to be?
Yeah.
Is the PGA Tour going to all of a sudden not become the PGA Tour? And is it just going to be the PGA World Tour, or is it going to be the Golf World Tour, or something like that? I mean, these questions. I'm only going off one ESPN article here, but these questions don't seem to be answered to me. And those are pretty looming questions for a merger that to me seems like it may be them going in over their heads. So of course, there's a lot of things still to work out, as we've just said. So will this actually happen? I mean, mergers before, especially in the world of sports, haven't worked out. They've been called off. They've been they've destroyed other organizations. I mean, there's numerous examples of things like that, but it's better than having a lawsuit looming over you, as I believe Mr. Donald Trump would attest to with that USFL scandal back in the 80s, where he won $1. But that will definitely, if it does happen, and if the effects do happen as they say in this article, it will certainly change the world of golf for possibly ever at this point.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it definitely stinks now because, I mean, Live Golf kind of ruined golf because, like, PGA Tour has been around for a long, long time, and that now all of a sudden this random guy, he comes out of nowhere and starts his own league, and all these people, all these professionals who've been playing on the tour for 10 plus years, say, just join him randomly. Like, I don't know.
It also, like, they were, like, juicing up their balls. Like, during, like, apparently they had some people playing in, the Masters, and they found that their balls are a lot more, like, bouncier, like, we're just catching the club better.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah.
Besides PGA Tour, this Saturday we have the Champions League final of Man City and Inter.
yes, that is coming
Yup.
this Saturday. We also
That'll
had
be
this past Saturday the 150th Manchester Derby.
Yeah.
It was some milestone in the Manchester Derby
Yeah.
between Man United and
In the
Man
FA
City
Cup.
in the FA Cup final.
Something
And that was unfortunately a Man City victory,
2-1.
2-1. The final. Ilkay Gundogan with a goal in the first minute, 16 seconds in, I believe it was, and in the 51st, and Bruno Fernandes with the only goal for Man United, a 33rd minute penalty. That is the second in the 3 trophies that Man City has to win in order for them to complete the treble, which was only done once by, I believe, the 2008 Manchester United team. So they have won the Premier League, over Arsenal. They have now won the FA Cup, and this Saturday we'll see if they can win the UEFA Champions League. In the secondary to the Champions League, UEFA Europa League, that league had their final this past Wednesday between Sevilla and Roma, which went to penalties, and Sevilla did get the win on that 4-1 on penalties. So Sevilla, of course, masters of that Europa League competition, and they have won yet another. And that was also Jose Mourinho's first ever European trophy loss when he makes it to the final. I'm going to go over to racing because we have some big news.
24 Hours of Le Mans this Sunday.
Before we get into the 24 Hours of Le Mans, I'm going to talk about the best day in motorsports, which happened Memorial Day weekend.
Yup.
We had the Monaco Grand Prix, which, of course, nothing actually happened. Because that track is too small. Max Verstappen wins by 27 damn seconds over Fernando Alonso. Esteban Ocon, the Frenchman, with a nice podium for Alpine, finishing third. And then this past weekend in the Spanish Grand Prix at the Barcelona-Catalunya circuit, it was Verstappen again with a 24-second victory over Lewis Hamilton and George Russell of Mercedes, rounding out the podium. Mercedes, are they back? Are they not? I mean, they got the new side pods. They finally put in side pods.
You never know.
They're not challenging.
Hamilton
they're
is
not challenging. Hamilton is
Hamilton, but
I mean, yeah, but Hamilton is a car merchant. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Only wins when he has a good car. The other big thing on that Sunday was the 107th Indianapolis 500 that ended with a one-lap shootout. Joseph Newgarden, the American, scoring the victory for Team Penske over the winner last year, Marcus Ericsson, and Santino Ferrucci, also an American from Florida, finishing third. Alex Palou and Alexander Rossi rounding out the top five in that race. Congrats to Newgarden on winning the greatest spectacle in racing. And we'll go over to the 24 Hours of Le Mans because LeBron James is going to be the starter for that one, so that at least gives it some legitimacy in the eyes of random sports fans across the United States. In terms of the actual race, it is the first year of the new hypercar class. Now the hybrid cars, which has a lot of manufacturers entering it.
Yeah, it's weird this year.
Yeah, chief among which it's Toyota, always the favorite at Le Mans, unfortunately. But we also have the Chip Ganassi Racing Cadillacs, two of them. The big driver there is Sebastien Bourdais, the Frenchman, who previously raced in IndyCar and Formula One. We also have the Van Wall Racing Team. In their own privately funded car. We have the Penske Porsche cars with their 205 and 06 entries with a lot of drivers. Of course, the two Toyotas, number 7 and number 8, are, of course, the favorites, as we said. And we also have some privately funded Toyota teams, as well as the two Ferraris and a third Porsche, as I'm going through.
There's also a NASCAR car.
Yes, there's also... I would like to talk about that because NASCAR this past year instituted a new generation of car, which is kind of more like a road course car, like a GT car that you're used to seeing, BMW M4, Ferrari 488. And we have, I guess you could call it Porsche 911, one of those type things that NASCAR has kind of implemented. They have some things like that, but it's also kind of more stock car looking, as the name suggests.
It's weird.
But they have instituted a Le Mans car, the Garage 56 car, which is the class that always has the weird type of cars.
Yeah, they're running a Chevy Camaro.
It's a heavily modified Chevy Camaro, number 24, entered by Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah.
The drivers for it, Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time NASCAR champion from the U.S., Jenson Button, the 2009 Formula One world champion from the UK, and Mike Rockenfeller, a former GT driver from Deutschland, Germany. So, yeah, that will be very interesting to watch.
I don't know how the car's going to hold up, though.
I mean, it's a race of attrition. It's 24
Wait.
hours, so we'll have to see. I mean,
Yeah.
it has the aerodynamics, but it's a very different car from what we're used to
Just
seeing.
under the hood in general.
Did you say they added NASCAR or something?
Yeah.
Wait, would that car, like, let's say if it's running on the track, will be able to do with it? Because, like, in NASCAR, like, irregular, they can't race with.
It's heavily modified.
Yeah.
They have more.
They have better tires.
Better tires.
Better under the engine.
The engine is a little bit different, I believe. They have a lot of aerodynamic modifications. There's like a lot of. There's more wings than normal on the back. Usually, it's just like a spoiler. Now they've got like a lot of curvature.
To put it
as
simply,
as well as on the front. It kind of looks like it's sprouting out wings towards it.
To put it simply, it's a
It's
Chevy Camaro that's built into a hypercar. It's weird.
I wouldn't call it that. It's kind of like a Chevy.
No, it's
a NASCAR Chevy Camaro with like GT elements built into it, with more GT elements built into it than the normal next gen car.
Like they're calling it a hypercar because like it's a hypercar race. It's strange.
I wouldn't call it that.
Like,
whoever you've said call it a hypercar. Don't
with F1 Formula doing what they've been doing right now, would you say that?
No, Hendricks is calling it like a. So I don't know.
I wouldn't call it a hypercar. I would call it a GT car, a GT NASCAR hybrid.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying with F1 Formula doing what they've been doing right now, would you say they're probably like more popular than NASCAR and IndyCar?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And it's unfortunate because you don't see any passing in that. You barely get 10 passes per race in F1, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
As opposed to IndyCar and NASCAR, where it's every lap you're passing somebody. So the better racing product is, of course, IndyCar and NASCAR, but unfortunately more popular is F1. Anyways, enough with my racing rant. We have to talk about the National Football League because there have been a lot of things happening there, chief among which is DeAndre Hopkins. Mr. Michael McKay, take it away.
So, recently the Arizona Cardinals had released DeAndre Hopkins, and he is an unrestricted free agent. So now anyone gets the chance to talk with him and try and sign them to their teams. So
No one's signing him.
Kansas City.
No
Chiefs,
one is signing him.
Kansas City Chiefs are signing him.
Really?
It's a
Yes.
Chiefs. They sign everyone.
I think he would. I'm not trying to be
Tyreek
biased
Hill
here, but
replacement.
I think he'll be a great fit for the Giants
They're not
dark
getting
horse
him.
team.
No.
You think the
I
Giants
think
gonna pull them off?
maybe
Yeah.
maybe
He
the
will
Jets,
go
but I
He
highly
will
doubt
go
it.
to the Kansas City Chiefs, and he
Yeah.
will be their Tyreek Hill replacement. That is the deal.
DeAndre Hopkins, right after he was released, he put out a list of the top 5 quarterbacks that he wanted to play with. And
Number one was Aaron Rodgers.
it was Aaron Rodgers, it was
Jet
Josh
free
Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert.
I won't be
DeAndre
surprised.
Hopkins has too many locker room issues.
Shall I
won't be-
say?
Eh,
Shall I say?
just keep him away from PEDs, and he's fine.
Yeah.
Shall I say? Jets, let's fly. DeAndre
Get out.
Hopkins.
You're not on this podcast anymore. Out. We're back to a 4-man booth here. Anyways,
DeAndre Hopkins has been known to say
With Philly getting Swift, and I won't be surprised if he does go to Philly.
I mean, yeah.
Because we got
And,
Philly
Philly
would be,
Philly
for us
has
would be
been-
interesting.
Philly has been
It would be
pulling
interesting.
everything off right now.
Philly
But-
Philly. I mean, they're already winning the NFC,
But they're not going to the Super Bowl though.
They're not winning the Super Bowl.
Alright.
We're back to where it was in the '90s with like the NFC Championship being the real
In
Super
my
Bowl,
opinion-
and now it's the AFC Championship.
In my
being the real
opinion-
Super Bowl.
I think that give it a couple years, let the young guys develop on Eagles, and
Eagles?
maybe
They're
we
not
have a
young.
chance.
Eagles
Well,
aren't that.
let's-
young.
I mean,
Alright.
yeah, with the draft
No,
picks,
just
but,
read-
like-
just-
a bunch
we
of
just-
25-year-olds from Georgia. That's about it.
yeah, but
exactly.
what? That's
They're
your
not
only
young,
youth
they're,
though.
Are going to be
We're
middle-aged in 10
surprised,
years.
we're surprised you didn't take Sexton.
Like, give
Bennett.
it
And
like
all
2
your-
years.
All your veterans on your team are going to be old. They're going to have to retire.
Let's
Yeah.
think about what each team has and why we think that DeAndre Hopkins should go to what team.
Well, I don't think we can talk about every team.
Not
There's
every
we
team.
can't.
Let's think about
how
can't.
about Kansas City Chiefs?
Kansas City
because Kansas City is
It's
the best
Kansas
team,
City.
and they need more.
Wait,
wide
where did
receivers.
What about the Bills?
I think
What about the Bills?
Now that
AFC
would be
champ-
something
That would
if
be
he goes to
something.
Buffalo.
AFC Championship exit to Kansas City.
But that,
so.
I feel like at that
Yeah.
point, like I feel like everyone's saying that D Hop is gonna be this crazy receiver wherever he goes. I think he's gonna either be a really good receiver or it's going to be a bust.
But one thing of getting D-Hop, you have to you kind of want to be a bit hard on him to make sure no suspensions or he doesn't do anything bad because you don't want to waste money or players or picks on him.
And he's not gonna take
Exactly
anything less.
why he has locker room problems,
not gonna
and
take
why
any-
it's such a risk to sign him.
And he's not going to take anything less than $10 million a year.
I don't think he's a good fit in Kansas City. The Chiefs, I believe, in the last draft before the 2023 one, so the 2022 draft, they got Sky Moore. Correct me if I'm wrong, and
Pacheco, right?
and Pacheco. They grabbed two big weapons that actually really did help them in the long run this past season. So now you've got DeAndre Hopkins. If you were to go to sign him, one, he's coming off of 6 or 11 game suspension, if I'm not.
6.
And
Watson was the one who had 11.
And he's just gonna be he's not gonna be the top wide receiver on that roster. I feel like because you've got Travis Kelce and you've got Isaiah Pacheco and Sky Moore.
But he will be number 1 though, and then you'll have McCall Hardman at 2 and the other guys below him.
Remember, they also have Juju.
No, Juju's not on the team anymore.
Patriots.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Is Juju still a free agent or did he?
He's on Patriots.
now, I
Oh,
forgot.
Patriots.
So-
Yeah.
I forgot he had only
So,
signed a 1 year deal.
I can see the Chiefs only have $1 million in cap to go, so I think what they do, they shed some of their unneeded wide receivers because they have
They have a
enough
lot.
They
wide
really
receivers.
don't really. When you look at, they don't really
And
have that much.
Sign D-Hop to a 1
They're
year,
giving all their money to
$5
Patrick.
million, $10 million.
They're giving all their
I
money
would go
to Patrick
7.5.
Mahomes.
7.5.
They're giving all their
probably.
money to Patrick Mahomes.
I feel
Yes,
like
well,
I feel like if you
Yeah, because that's their stars.
because they
Well, yeah.
deserve it.
If the Chiefs just have Travis Kelce, you can just throw it to him every time and you win your game.
If I feel like DeAndre Hopkins, 1, he's a veteran. 2, he just came off of a suspension. The teams are not going to want to sign him to probably a big of a deal that he's going to want. So he may not, in the end, get the star quarterbacks he wants to play with. So we have to start thinking about other teams he could possibly go to.
That's why I'm saying the
Bears.
Giants. Because with the Giants, they'll be tough on him, make sure he doesn't do any bad stuff.
But who does the Giants have at wide receiver?
Right now,
Is it Galladay?
No,
they just signed
No
someone.
one. Jets have $23 million in cap. We're getting them.
So
Yeah, but they also have
it could be the Jets in theory.
Yeah, 1 year 7.5.
Yeah.
1 year 10.
The Jets are
1 year 10 maybe. Yeah.
The Jets are this turnaround team that went from
Well, let's not be hasty with the
Yeah.
Jets. Let's not be
They
hasty
went
with
from-
the
you don't
Jets.
know if Rodgers can
Perennial
get injured.
9-win team.
Yeah.
Perennial 9-win
You have a
team. I would
43-year
know.
theory.
I would know.
It's been his best.
I've gone
theory.
through too much to have some hope.
the
my
last time
friend.
the
Geno
Jets
Smith 2015.
the last time
Ryan Fitzpatrick 2014. What
Well,
happened
or-
against the Bills?
Or
Ryan.
Fitzpatrick in 2016.
Geno Smith.
McCown 2015.
Any QB you've
Well,
had
Mark
in the
Sanchez.
Mark
last-
Sanchez butt fumble.
Shall we keep going?
I think correct me if I'm wrong.
Not drafting Dan Marino in '83.
What
Correct
about
me if
losing
I'm
to
wrong,
a
Matt.
what about losing to a
Geno
punt return?
Smith.
Geno Smith.
What about losing to the punt return to a punt return to the Patriots?
Did
After
you know? Wait,
winning
but
the
did
whole
you know
game.
You're a
that?
Raiders fan. Stop.
I
Yo.
know, but still.
Did you know that Michael Vick was once on the Jets?
Yes, I know. He was like our quarterback when Sanchez was crap in 2012.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
Sanchez was always crap.
So, in theory, if you look at the Jets, they haven't really they've in recent history, they haven't been as good since the 2000s and early 2010s. So, you've gone through 2 mid quarterbacks in Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson. You've now got Aaron Rodgers. Yes, he's at the end of his career probably, and he just got every single Packers player that's been on the team.
Aaron Rodgers is not gonna be at the end of his career. He's gonna
If
go
I'm
to the
being
Vikings.
honest,
He's gonna
I mean-
follow the. He's gonna follow
He's
the
gonna
Brett Favre
pull Brett Favre.
and go to the Vikings.
I mean,
He's gonna play
Gets
a few-
injured week 9.
and then lose and then never come back.
I don't
Gets released.
really think the Jets will go out and sign D-Hop for a lot.
No.
Because
They'll give an offer.
I
to,
can,
well,
I
like,
can
they
see,
won't
I can
sign
see
him.
D-Hop being on the Vikings or
He's
the
gonna go-
Lions or something.
Nah.
yeah, he's not gonna go to Jets. What they're
But no, but the
already have, they're
I
not
think
gonna
I
get
think
him.
the Jets are gonna put a offer out, whether it's good
Yeah,
or
we'll
bad.
put,
I
we'll
think
put
they're
an
gonna-
offer.
They'll put
I mean,
like
everybody
a,
will try and
yeah.
put an offer.
They'll put like a 1 year $5 million.
Well, I just saw Dallas They
Oh,
don't
yeah,
want
he could also go to Dallas too.
No, he
I
doesn't.
wouldn't
I
like
just
to
saw
see that. I
he's
hope
not
not.
going. He's not going to Dallas.
He doesn't want
Dallas
to.
I just saw
Good,
something
stay
that
away
they.
from Dak. Dak can't play.
Well, Dak never
Dak-
was able to.
Dak hasn't been able to play ever
Since
since he
2016.
blew out
Since his
ankle.
rookie year.
Yeah.
And now with Zeke gonna be gone, he
I-
definitely can't play.
I'm gonna.
I mean, let's be honest. Pollard was. a
Wait,
big
Yeah.
impact for
where's
the
Zeke
past,
going?
like,
Is he
3
just
years.
being a
I think
free
I
agent?
think-
Zeke
he's
is
a-
going
I
to
think he
China.
got cut.
That's where he's
Really?
going. I'm not sure.
I feel
I think he
like.
got cut, right?
Yeah, he got cut.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Guangdong Tigers
Pulled the-
football.
pulled-
And I
He's,
like-
he's too fat.
He pulled a Des Bryant.
Yeah.
I like how Zeke's last play was him at quarterback and got full
No,
on
it
like
was center.
destroyed.
It was
Zeke,
center.
get ready to learn Canadian,
At
buddy.
that
He's going to the
No, he's going to
XFL.
the XFL, yeah.
Nah, he's going
Nah.
to USFL.
he's gonna go play Aussie football.
It's
He's
an
gonna-
entirely different
Who's going to
sport.
be the new goaltender for Montreal Canadiens?
Yeah.
He's gonna go
He's
play
big
rugby.
enough.
He's gonna go play rugby.
And the Canadians will
He's
still
gonna play
stink.
rugby.
He's gonna go over and play rugby.
So, with that tirade about the NFL pretty much over, we thank you for joining us for this final episode of the Pascack Clutch podcast. For Michael McKay, Sean Barry, Sam Koppelman, and Alex McKay, our teacher supervisor, Mr. Casamento, over there. This is Matthew Merlino. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back in September this year to talk more, probably the NFL, because that's
College
what
football.
we're talking about.
College football.
And
College football.
Don't forget about college
Yeah.
football. We got 10 seconds left in lunch. Goodbye, everybody. Having a very nice summer.